It's Matchday 30 picks edition of the Premier League Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. It's brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up at Underdog Fantasy, promo code PLGP to get up to $1,000 in bonus credits. We're also brought to you by Edge Boost. Get up to $750 in cashback rewards each month when you sign up at edgeboost.bet. Use the promo code SGPN. Welcome, everybody, to the Premier League Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. My name is Mal and Baz, coming to you from Newcastle upon Tyne in the northeast of England. Today is Sunday, March the 30th. We are here to have a little look over the weekend FA Cup quarter-final games, and we've got a full slate, thank goodness, it's been too long, of Premier League action. Tuesday to Thursday, all 10 games going. Good news is it's a hangover special. We haven't had a hangover special for a few months. Been a little while, so I thought I'd break one out. I don't know if you've already detected the level of sleepiness and emotional vulnerability in my tone, but I'm absolutely hungover as 1,000 snakes. Joining me, hopefully, a little bit more sober so we could hold this shambles together is Mr. Barry Penaluna. Barry, have you just got out the bath, or you've been gunged by
I knew that was going to be your first question. Why do you think I'm bright red?
I have no idea. Have you been for a walk?
It's sunburn in it.
Oh, fucking
honestly,
hell, Barry.
Even Helen is taking the piss tonight saying, how have you got sunburn today? Like, it's been about 10 degrees outside. It's absolutely freezing. But yet I've stood in a field for 4 hours watching two kids' football matches and come home, absolutely, my head is throbbing. I've got a headache. I think I've got sunstroke. I'm also going downhill, Malcolm, but purely down to not wearing a cap on my head is the problem.
Yeah, so you didn't have a hat on, no?
No, this is the problem, isn't it? I'm fucking stupid.
It's not like the SGPN merch store doesn't have thousands of hats, Barry. Get a Premier League Gambling Podcast cap and put it on.
I can guarantee nobody else on those sidelines today was wearing a cap, and none of them will be sunburned. But as you know, I've got very delicate skin. So, yes.
You're quite susceptible, aren't you, to the old big old ball of fiery fun up there in the sky, Baz? Well, that's cheered me up a little bit. As the days gone on, the worse I've felt. I feel like I've been run over. I went to watch Knaresborough Town versus Bottisford yesterday.
Bottisford's from around here.
Yeah, I thought it was like like South Lincolnshire kind of way. Was it like?
Bottisford are literally 2 miles from my house.
All right. They got humped 3-0 is what happened. I went to visit my friend, one of my favourite friends, who is the world's most enthusiastic drinker. Like, you can drink, Baz, but Chinny is just non-stop enthusiasm. From dawn till dusk, he absolutely loves it. And I don't think he gets off the leash very often. So when I come to visit, he just goes extra mental. So we got there early, watched the football with a few pints, then had a few more pints, then set the casino up in the clubhouse, all the Knaresborough Town players and their wives and girlfriends. The reserves came back. They got beat 4-1. So there was a big thing. We had the big party, got the stuff away about midnight, went back to Chinny's house, got more booze. Upshot is at 5 o'clock in the morning, we're still dancing around the kitchen, singing into the ironing board, singing Bob Dylan songs. And then he woke me up at 8 o'clock this morning. And we discussed this the other day, Barry. I'm not very good with a hangover at all. I've got a confession, Barry. I didn't know whether to tell everyone this or not, because I thought some people might think I'm a disgrace of a human. But I'm going to tell you, I feel like it's a safe space. I set off about 11:30 from his, which is in Harrogate. I immediately had to pull over and have an hour's sleep at Lehman Bar, which is 8 miles away. So I managed 8 miles before I pulled over and had an hour's kip. I then set off again, and about 3 miles up the road, Barry, thought, "Ah, shit, I'm going to be sick." The exit was a mile away. I thought, I'll make the exit. Yeah. Next thing I know, I've got a mouthful. So I just left hand down onto the hard shoulder about 3 seconds too late. And yeah, windscreen, all up the side of the van, all down the side where I keep all my stuff, all my notes, my paper, from my high-vis jacket, all covered in puke. And then went out the other door and coated the other door because I was trying not to die on the A1 with people coming past. And then had to carry on driving home. I had to take my T-shirt off to blow my nose. You know when you've been sick and it's all in your nose? I had nothing at all to do. So T-shirt off, blow my nose, and then I had to drive back shamefaced. And the best news, happy Mother's Day, obviously, to the IT department, who then had to go outside and with a kitchen roll and a squirty thing of whatever and clean the entire van, get all the vomit out the van while I went to bed.
There's not a chance Helen would have cleaned that for me. Like, that would have been left there until I sorted it out. You fucking absolutely spoiled rotten, you, like.
Yeah, well, I did the thing of like I did the blokes thing of like pretending to help, but doing such a bad job. I stood there looking like a little lost boy, like a little sad lost boy for about 15 seconds, and just went, "Do you know what? Just fuck off. I'll do it myself."
I bet you were just pointing. You've missed a bit. There's a little bit there.
Exactly.
There's some in the door. Yeah.
Here's the thing, right? So I'd had a sausage sandwich in the morning with mustard on. And obviously, like the grill where the air comes out, like I can see bits of old sausage have gone flying up there. Like, so if I put the heater on in the morning, I've no idea whether a couple of mouthfuls of partially digested Richmond's finest is going to come flying back out me, Baz. So I might get it valeted, Baz, tomorrow. I might head up to the big Tesco's at Kingston Park and get the valet to put something round you. So anyway, I apologise to everybody, especially if you're having your tea, or if anyway you think less of me. But that's the kind of human I am. And as the days I felt worse and worse and worse, I just woke up then at 20 to 10. I got back here at 2 o'clock or whatever. I've just woke up there on the sofa at 20 to 10, completely by accident. Otherwise, you'd be sitting here by yourself. So that is that. Barry, did you come to the parade yesterday?
I did, yes. Me and the kids came up for the weekend. Came up Friday night. And then spent Saturday down on the town where it was a good day. After all the moaning, lots of Newcastle fans spent a lot of the last week moaning about what sort of celebration they thought the club should have, and not everyone was happy with what it was. And as it turned out, everybody did what they wanted to do, and everybody had a lovely time. So it was good.
Straightforward, isn't it? Yeah. Why is everyone so bothered about what everyone else can't, wants to, or should be doing? Just fucking get on with it. You're right, like.
Some people went and stood on the streets and watched the bus back past, and then went in the pub and had a drink. And other people stood for 5 hours and watched. There was some live music. There was some legends on the stage. There was the trophy lift. Bruno was brilliant. He was on good form, just getting
he was
into the backends and swearing at every opportunity. And then the big drone show at the end was good as well. So the kids enjoyed it. I met up with the two brothers and their kids. A good little family day out. We got a good spot, and it was good.
Yeah, my kids went. One of the other dads took them because obviously I was away, making a disgrace of myself. But yeah, I think they said they had a nice time. Friend of the show, Pete Graves, making it onto the guest list alongside Anton Deck at the top made me laugh. He was buzzing with that. So I was nice to see Pete get a little bit more exposure than he already does. In the chat, we've got Andy was top, Austin from across the pond, Lee Smith's here, Callum, welcome. Who else is here? Michael has joined us. Michael, Harry, Chelsea, and all the way down to Ian Lights Out. I think that's everybody. If you are lurking in the chat and you haven't said hello, say hello. I think we're going head to head directly with the MLB show tonight, which is a bit silly. the other show that I do here on the network normally do exact same time. So we should probably, it's probably not good for business, Baz, particularly. But we'll try and sort that out today, though. I wasn't concerned about anything other than not dying. That was my main issue. FA Cup, done all right, Baz. 1-2, lost 2. I think the 2 that we won were fair enough. I think that the 2 that we lost were fair enough. I felt a bit unlucky with Villa in the under 2.5, actually, because that game was going nowhere. And then all of a sudden it was 3-0. Manchester City deserved to win. So, yeah, profit. Like, we bet 4 units. We won half a unit. I think we were very similar, weren't we?
I got 3.
Manchester City.
I got 3 of them. I had 3 winners. Yeah, I took the Villa handicap. And actually, I sort of compared it to the Cardiff game in the previous round. I said 2-0, something like that would probably be where it would end up, and that wasn't far off being. And that was very similar. It was 0-0 at half time. I think the Cardiff game as well. In the second half, Villa just turned up, done what they had to. So yeah, I hit the handicap in the Villa game. I had Man City, I had Palace, and the only thing I didn't hit was the Brighton team total. And me Aka, Malcolm, you remember I put out an 8-1 Aka on the 4 teams to qualify. City, Palace, Villa, and then I had Brighton. So I was a penalty shootout away from hitting the 8-1 Aka for the 4 teams to qualify. So close, but no cigar.
Close, but no cigar. Now, Forest, I watched a little of the Forest game. They were on in the club yesterday when I was setting up, and Forest just do a job. Like the 0-0 draw was very much on brand for them. I know we'd taken goals, but Forest did a job. But Palace was a weird one because they were 2-0 up at half time. Frankly, haven't been by far the second best team, but that's also kind of Palace's MO to invite the upper one and then bang, bang on the break, and you've got them. Haaland tried his best. I was getting a bit frustrated with that because I was lying in bed, sort of sleeping through it, and I heard missed sitter, missed 1-on-1, missed penalty, 1-0 Bournemouth. I was like, oh, come on. And then, obviously, they pulled it round. I think it was fair enough. So, yeah, not bad. It's didn't lose, Baz. Both made some profit going into a Premier League week, so not terrible news. This says here, Barry, why would you pay for some toad's Discord when you can get access to SGPN's Discord completely free? Hang out with the SGPN community, breaking down all the DGen action. Head to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. Do you have anything else you would like to tell the people, Barry, before we start handicapping these games?
No, let's just get stuck into it.
Yeah, let's get stuck into it before I fall off my chair. I need to get back to bed, is what needs to happen here. Tuesday, April the 1st. That's April Fool's Day, that, Baz. 7:45 kickoff, which I believe is 5 hours. 2:45. We're back to normal. I can work this out. 2:45 Eastern time. First game on the slate is Arsenal taking on Fulham. I haven't made any banners to scroll across the page, obviously, at the bottom, if you're wondering where they are. I have not been asked. Arsenal are 9-20, minus 222. The draw is 16-5, plus 320. And Fulham are shunted all the way out at 6-1. Arsenal have become quite predictable, especially if you're having a little bet. Unders is the answer. 6 out of the last 7 games. 4 of them have gone under 1.5, so not just under 2.5. It's that old combo. If they can defend and they can't score, great combo that. If you're trying to back totals, Saka is back in training. I don't know if he'll play or not. I don't know how far away he is. I thought Fulham. How many times we said the last few weeks? All these teams, we caught the same team. Fulham, Brentford, Bournemouth, Brighton. They're all the same team. They'll play the way they play. And 1 week they'll win, and 1 week they'll lose. I think the handicap of that Fulham Palace game, I'm just looking at it, was that 1-5, lost 4 of the last 9. They've now won 5, lost 5 in 10. Because that's just how they'll go and play Fulham. And it's half-time on Saturday. They could have been 2-0 up, but they were 2-0 down. Second half, they just go and do the same thing. And that's how that middle of the table works. 8 games since either they or an opponent scored 3 times in the league. 2-0, 1-0, 2-1, 2-1, 2-0, 2-1, 2-1, 2-0. So they only lost 1 of those on the handicap. Very competitive. I don't see why any Arsenal would beat them by a couple. I like Fulham. They're a decent side. They've not been losing on the handicap. Arsenal haven't been turning over teams. If Fulham have scored, which they're very capable of doing, I don't see Arsenal scoring 3. Fulham on the Asians. Now, the -1.5 was a tiny bit short. It was 3-5, -166. But Fulham -1, -1.5 is 5-6, -120.
Fulham +1.
You want it?
Fulham +1.
Sorry, but yeah. All right, Baz. I'm fucking full of Guinness and red wine still. +1, +1.5, 5-6, -120. Fulham keep this close, Baz.
Yeah, I agree. I think they'll keep it close. I don't mind your pick at all, really. I mean, first thing when you look at this, sort of looking at the form, you look Arsenal's last game was a 1-0 win over Chelsea, and it feels like it was about 2 months ago, that, doesn't it? This break has been absolutely epic in terms of Premier League football. So yeah, it feels like a lifetime ago. That did break a 3-game winless streak in the league after they'd drawn against Man United and Forest and lost to West Ham. So still no sort of, not necessarily flying or really in any kind of form, because a win over Chelsea doesn't really change much. Saka getting closer to a return for Arsenal, as you mentioned. I think it's unlikely he'll start this week. Almost certainly won't start, and possibly not even on the bench. They reckon he might be held back until the weekend, but obviously will be a welcome boost when he does return. The trend for Arsenal games, win, lose or draw, has been the unders. 5 in a row in the league have gone under 2.5 goals. So definitely plenty of trends there for that. Fulham, well beaten by Palace yesterday in the Cup, and I'm struggling a little bit to know what to make of Fulham at the moment. 1 week they look good, the next week they're a little bit underwhelming. They had a good win over Spurs recently, and they have won 4 of the last 6 in the league. The defeats coming against Palace and Brighton, but good wins against Spurs, Forest, Newcastle recently as well. So definitely live in this one, Fulham. The over-unders for Fulham is 4-4 in the last 8 games. But the 4 overs, the 4 that did go over 2.5, all finished 2-1. So I think with the unders with Fulham, even though they're only hitting half the time, they're not going miles over or anything like that. So I think it's live in Fulham games as well. Where I got to here was I don't like Arsenal at 2-5. I just couldn't have them at that price at the moment. So where you've gone, I don't mind at all. I still don't think you can trust them to win by multiple goals or anything like that. So I didn't want Arsenal, but I just couldn't get myself too excited about Fulham. I didn't get there myself, but a bit of a boring one to start. Hitting often enough when Arsenal involved. I'll just take the under 2.5 goals, 4-5. I think this will be a low scoring one, 1-1 or 1-0 either way, something like that.
Fair enough. SGPN has partnered up with Edge Boost, the Premier Visa debit card for bettors. An Edge Boost card allows you to avoid the hassle of getting your card denied at the sportsbook, DFS site, sweepstakes site, anything like that. You can earn up to $750 per month in cashback rewards. And you know your money is safe. The card is FDIC insured. No credit checks. It's completely free. Sign up today at edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. And mybookie.ag is back. MyBookie is your place to bet every sport. There's props for every game. MyBookie accepts customers from tons of locations. Easy deposit and lightning fast payouts using crypto. Head to mybookie.ag with the promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit match up to $1,000. That's mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN. That DraftKings terms and conditions has gone away, Barry. I'm delighted to say. I'm not sure I could have handled that tonight, I'll be honest. The precarious state I'm in. 7:45 on Tuesday is Wolverhampton Wanderers against West Ham United. Wolves are 7-5 plus 140. The draw is 9-4 plus 225. And West Ham United are 2-1. 2-1 just outside of this. Really tight, Barry. All 3 options and play on the books here. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, just bring up there. Lee's comment in the chat saying it's a tough week of fixtures to predict. And I thought that, to be honest, I got to the end and you're looking for your lock for this week. and there wasn't one of my 10 picks that I think I really love that. Normally, you've got one or two that you think, oh, really, I found this, love it. This week, not a lot. I found the whole card very, very difficult. And this one is one of them, as you say, all outcomes are there. Closely matched. Neither team have been particularly startling in recent weeks. 2 wins from the last 6 games for each of them. West Ham have gone under 2.5 goals in 5 straight games now. Wolves, on the other hand, are 3-3 to the over and under in their last 6. So the books are favouring the unders in this one. But I'm actually tempted to go the other way. The form doesn't really lend itself to goals, but I just think in quite a closely matched game, sort of pressure's off a little bit for Wolves now. And a game that could go either way. I fancy both teams to make a go of it. The overs at 6-5, I was tempted with, but actually a better play and one that does have a bit better form around it is the both teams to score. Wolves games have gone both teams to score in 5 in a row now, and the both teams to score keeps the 1-1 on my side. It's very much a possibility this week. I'm going to take both teams to score. Wolves v West Ham at 10-11.
Ian has gone the exact same play. I've just noticed, I put Ian's comment up on the screen. Is that a tennis gambling podcast shirt he's rocking as well? Quality that, Ian. Love it. Yeah, both teams to score. I didn't even look at that price actually, Baz, but Wolves do look safe now, 9 points above the relegation zone, won 3 of the last 6, and they're competitive against the bottom half teams, Baz. They get nothing at all, the good teams, but you can factor them in definitely when they're playing teams around them. West Ham have puzzled me because a few weeks ago, they were sort of my team to watch between now and the end of the season. I then missed them subsequently at 10-1 against Arsenal, then backed them against Newcastle at a big price at home when they were absolutely dog shit on that Monday night. They had a 1-1 at Everton last time, and I think Callum's hit the nail on the head here. I like the draw at 9-4 plus 225, but I also think this is the 1-1 draw of the week, but
it's Malcolm's 1-1 draw of the week. Both teams scored a goal. It's Malcolm's 1-1 draw of the week. Both teams scored a goal.
That's 2 consecutive 1-1 draw of the weeks that I've played the jingle twice by mistake. But last time I did it, it hit. So it might just be lucky. So we'll have to keep doing it. We'll have to go up to 3 times once it starts losing. 11-2 plus 550 for the 1-1 draw of the week. The third game on Tuesday. My notes are absolutely all over the place here. Did I handicap? I've got Arsenal Fulham, and then I've got Bournemouth Ipswich as the next game on my list, which is on Wednesday. And that's why I was right, okay. What were we doing?
Nottingham Forest, Man United. Bournemouth are Wednesday, so it's Forest, Man United.
Yeah, they're just I was sober when I done that yesterday morning. Forest, Man United, 8 o'clock, 3 p.m. Eastern time. Forest have eased a little bit, actually. There's been line movement report. Forest were 6-5, and now 5-4 plus 125. The draw is 13-5 plus 260. There's been money for Man United, 21-10 into 2-1. Manchester United. The prices we get on Forest on a weekly basis continue to be outrageous. We got even money last time at Ipswich, and they were 3-0 up inside 25 minutes. It was ridiculous. 5-4 against bottom half opposition here, by the way. This is 3rd v 13th. Do you know what I mean? They're not close together. Forest, again, just make everything so difficult for the oppo. They're so difficult to turn over. Brighton, a team that have been in really good goal-scoring form. And yesterday, Forest just closed them down again. At home, against the teams from 9th down to 20th, Forest have won 6, drawn 2, unbeaten. So that 5-4 is more than a fair price. Now, Manchester United are unbeaten in 4 games, but The 2 wins were against Ipswich and Leicester, so they don't count. We know this. We always rule them out. They were dog shit at Everton before flicking a 2-2 draw before that. I just think at the prices, you've got to take Forest, but they're the better team. They're at home. They've got something to play for. Man United still haven't showed me enough other than 2 wins against bottom 3 teams. And really, they spawned their way past. It was Southampton, wasn't it? Ipswich gave them a right good game. They comfortably disposed of Leicester, fair enough. But you have to take Forest, but they'll be on a high as well. You could make the case it's a letdown spot. No way, absolutely no way. If anything, they made enough changes yesterday. It's not a letdown spot. They've got the Champions League firmly as their focus. So 5-4 for Nottingham Forest, but
yeah, I mean, they sneaked their way through in the Cup again. 3rd consecutive win on penalties in the Cup for Forest. Before that, they did have back-to-back Premier League wins, Man City and Ipswich. But those are the only 2 wins in their last 8 games inside 90 minutes. So it hasn't been all plain sailing for Forest lately. But as you say, they are certainly hard to beat, and particularly at home. Man United find themselves unbelievably on a 7-game unbeaten run. That's quite astonishing, really, considering how average has been. But if you narrow it down to just the Premier League games, they've only won 2 of their last 6, and that was Ipswich and Leicester. So I'm not having this as some kind of resurgence for Man United or any sign of green shoots in the Amorim recovery. But the Arsenal draw was a good one for Man United. Other than that, a draw via Everton and wins against Ipswich and Leicester are about what you'd expect from Man United, considering where they are on the table. Forest at home, they don't lose often at home. 6 wins and 2 draws in the last 8 games now as well. They've beaten Man City, Brighton, Villa in amongst that home run. Draws with Arsenal and Liverpool. I think you've got to take Forest at home against an average side. Forest at 5-4, as you say, looks a great price.
I was just looking at the Forest draw no bets, 4-6. That's like a free bet. Literally a free bet. But no, Man United aren't going to win. Like you say, you could make a case for them scrapping a 0-0 or a 1s each. In which case, get your money back. Like, so if you're that way inclined. And there's a really interesting comp coming up in a little while. I had it down to my next game, but that's because I've missed out the Bournemouth game. Look at Barry holding his head. Are you all right there, Baz? What you doing?
No, I'm in pain.
Get yourself a bag of ice or something.
That's not good. Need
No?
some moisturize.
Tea towel. Wet tea towel. Go and wet damp tea towel yourself. We won't judge you. You'll just look like the shake. The fake shake. Fake shake yourself up, Baz.
I'll just suffer in silence.
Taylor Swift. What are we doing? Advertising. Underdog. Pick 'em. You can play any sport with up to 100 times your entry. Sign up with our code PLGP to claim a special pick and first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus credits. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code PLGP. And Rhythm is your home for AI picks and props. Rhythm is already off to a great start, helping you dominate March Madness. Build your own custom model is easy and profitable. They've got models for NBA, golf, and MLB is on its way soon as well. Sign up today for a free 7-day trial at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. Jerry the Berry, yeah. Michael's giving you a Jerry the Berry comp there, Baz, which I like. Classic comedy Jerry the Berry. I watched all of those on the dodgy stick recently. Absolutely gold. Wednesday night, I'm going to count these up for Courtney, even though she's not here. We should have given out Nottingham Forest to score first for Courtney as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7:45 kickoffs on Wednesday and 1 8 p.m. Starting with the second game on my list, Bournemouth against Ipswich Town. Bournemouth 9-25 minus 277. The draw is 17-4 plus 425. Ipswich are 6-1, Bazza.
Bournemouth slipped to another defeat today against Man City. That brings up a 6-game winless streak now. I was onto this a few weeks ago. I told you Bournemouth were going to go on a bit of a slide.
Baz, you nailed it.
But I think this one should represent a good opportunity for them to potentially bounce back. You would think Ipswich are in terrible form. 4 defeats in a row and 8 defeats in the last 10. And just 2 points from those last 10 games now as well. 8 of the 10 games, they've conceded at least 2 goals. The only slight positive is they do keep scoring. They've only failed to score once in the last 7 games. So they're getting on the score sheet. They just can't keep people out at the other end. I mean, Bournemouth at 4-11 makes it a tricky one to go for, particularly a team that have got out of the winning habit lately. But I don't want now to do with Ipswich at the minute. I think Bournemouth will bounce back here. I think Bournemouth should win this one. But I'm going to give Ipswich a goal here and take the both teams to score and over 2.5 goals at 10-11.
Same handicap, same picks, Baz. Kind of want to fade Bournemouth, but you couldn't against Southampton, Ipswich or Leicester. That changes your handicap. So even if Bournemouth continue to struggle, they should win. They should still win. I thought they were fine today, actually. The City were a bit better than them, but they still didn't do much wrong. But that's kind of a symptom. They're just they're allowing teams to play against them. They lost to Brentford, Bournemouth, and Wolves in 3 of the last 4 home games. They've only won 6 of 14 at home. So even if you wanted to back them on the handicap, that's far, far too short. But 3 of the last 4, both teams to score and over 2.5. Ipswich get beat every week, but scored in 6 of the last 7, Baz. 5 of those have gone over. Both teams to score is actually much bigger than I thought. It's 4-5. So if you want to do that standalone, minus 125. But I did add in the over 2.5, Baz. The other play I was going to do was Bournemouth to win in over 2.5, because Bournemouth might win 3-0. You'd be frustrated if they knock them off 3-0, and we've taken the both teams to score. I might price that. Maybe that was. I might have priced that up actually. Maybe that was too short as well. I'm going to do this live here. Result is Bournemouth to win. Total goals over 2. 5 to 6. Right, that's my play, Barry. Fucking hell. I'm changing things on the fly. Yeah, Bournemouth to win and over 2 goals, because we might get the 3-0. So we get another scoreline on our side there. That's 5 to 6 minus 120. That's a great bet. And it's an example of how a brilliant mind works on the fly. Everyone there for 20 seconds. If you want to, if there's any young schoolboys watching, that was exemplary. Next up is, the only problem is I'm on the wrong fucking page now. This is less of an example of how to do things properly. It's a roller coaster. 7:45 is Brighton and Hove Albion taking on Aston Villa. Brighton are 21 to 20. They've drifted ever so slightly, having lost yesterday. Plus 105, 3-1 the draw. Villa 21 to 10, plus 210. This was the prices I wanted to compare with the Forest Man United, because it's 2 teams very, very evenly matched in terms of league position. Like if they played, all the outcomes would be on the table here every time they played each other, Brighton and Villa. But they're the same prices as Forest Man United, which to me is just wrong. Like, I like Noah on the base on the college show, Baz, has started doing a WTF, which is the wrong team favourite, which I like. So we've been looking for those, and this isn't one, but it's a kind of similar thing in that the prices are just incomparable. That Forest Man United game to this Brighton game. Goals in the Brighton games, obviously Forest done a job on them yesterday, but before that is 4-3-3, 4-3 and 7 in their last 6 league games. Villa have only won 5 of 14 away from home, which means I wouldn't pull the trigger at 11 to 5, because it does look like a match that's too big. But it does scream goals, Baz. It screams 2-1 either way, or maybe 2-2. Both teams to score over 2.5 looks safest. Slightly cautious. Both teams to score over 2.5 is 4 to 5, minus 125. I mean, Michael's making the point. It does look like a toss of a coin. This is this list of teams that we have now that will just go and win or lose every week. So if you can keep getting them at 2 to 1, you're going to make profit on them. So I totally agree with you there. But yeah, I've gone a little bit safer, Baz.
Yeah, 2 teams both going well. Contrasting fortunes this weekend for the 2 of them, but neither of them are losing many games at the minute inside 90. Brighton unbeaten in normal time for 8 games now. And they've won 4, drawn 1 of the last 5 as well in the league. Villa 6 wins from 7, but that includes a lot of cup games. I mean, the Bruges wins were good, but cup games against Cardiff and Preston, you can't give too much weight to. Focusing just on the league form, they have won only 2 of the last 8, Villa. And I think the form at home is definitely far better. You've mentioned the away form is not quite as good. They lost 6 of the last 9 away from home, I think. Brighton games are usually good for goals. The 0-0 yesterday against Forest was the first in 9 games that hasn't went over 2.5 goals. And this one finished 2-2 in the reverse fixture as well. I think you could see something similar here. I like both teams to play their part in it. And like you, I've gone for goals here, over 2.5, a little bit short at 4-7. Tag on the both teams to score, get you a nice 4-5 winner. And it would have hit 4 straight games for Brighton as well before the weekend. So yeah, team right again, over 2.5 goals and both teams to score between Brighton and Villa, 4-5.
Okie-doke. Team ride on that one. Next up is Manchester City taking on Leicester City. Man City, there's been a massive drift here. This is incredible. Man City were 1-8 yesterday morning and now 1-5, minus 500. The draw is 13-2 from 8-1. Leicester City are 10-1 from 16-1. Did you want to riddle me that, Baz? Any thoughts on that?
No, I mean, Leicester haven't played, so they haven't lost.
Well, I mean, I don't know what's changed. Man City all the players didn't get eaten by a lion or something this afternoon. They played the game, they won the game, and they all went home.
The only thing I can think is Leicester didn't lose this weekend, Malcolm.
But they weren't going to lose yesterday morning when they were 16-1.
Well,
so I don't know why they're trading 10-1. I don't know who's all right, Andy's giving out Haaland's injury. I mean, we think that's what he said. He's tried 4 different ways to spell it so far, and he's fucked him up every time. But I think that's what he's getting at. That doesn't make any difference, does it? You could play up front for Man City, Baz. And as long as there's no Chinese people up there refusing to get across the front post, then Man City should score loads of goals. It was your turn. Yeah, go on, you say things.
It is, yeah, very short one. I think I'm not even bothered about what Man City or what form they're in or who's playing up front for them. You focus on Leicester, 7 losses in a row, 6 in a row in the league without scoring a goal. That's absolutely shocking. 7 of the last 8 Leicester defeats have come by a margin of 2 or more as well. And City at home, they just drew against Brighton, lost against Liverpool, but prior to that, they had wins 4-0 over Newcastle, 3-1 over Chelsea, 4-1 over West Ham. If they can cover handicaps against those 3 teams, you have to think they're going to cover against Leicester, who can't score against anyone. It is quite a big handicap. Asian handicap, -2 is 10-11. So City winning by 2, I think, I just feel I'd be amazed if they don't win this by a couple at home against this Leicester side who can't score a goal. We'll get a push if they win by 2. We need them to win by 3 to cash a winner. But yeah, City on the Asian handicap, -2 at 10-11.
I might be able to change my bet. Oh, it's close. Yeah, so it turns out I missed the Haaland injury today, obviously by being asleep. Lisa and Marmouche came on. I've got a feeling Marmouche might be a bit rubbish. I'm just going to throw that out there. There's a bold take. We can come back to that later on. He doesn't look very quick, which is an issue. But if he starts on Wednesday in the absence of Haaland, Lee fancies shots on target, 10-11. Little ladder, 3 shots on target is 3-1, and so on and so forth. The second I looked at this game, Barry, I giggled and knew exactly what pick I was going to do. City haven't scored loads of goals, 2-0, 1-0 in the last 4 league games, 2 more today. They should win, but I don't fancy them to go mad. And now we're missing Haaland, so this has actually worked into my handicap really well. Even if it is against Leicester, who are complete shite, I've no idea what Van Nistelrooy's attempting to achieve there. They haven't scored since Pussy was a kitten. I actually had to amend my bet because the odds was too short. I wanted what I call the Bayern Munich bet, Barry, which was City to win and under 5 goals. Because do you know how many 5 goals is, Baz? It's a lot of goals, isn't it? It's 5 goals. That is now 7-10. That's just about give-outable. 7-10 minus 142. But it wasn't give-outable when I did this yesterday. So City to win. Same game parlay. Bet builder. Cones out. High vis jackets covered in vomit on. City to win. Both teams to score no and under 5 goals. 13 to 10 plus 130. But if you just want the Bayern Munich special, City to win and under 5 is 7 to 10 minus 142. Next up is, oh my God, can't find the right page for love nor money. What time's this? Is it Newcastle? Yeah. Newcastle take on Brentford at 7:45 on Wednesday, a game I shall be attending. And Newcastle 4 to 6 minus 150. The draw 15 to 4 plus 375. Brentford are 3 to 1. Tricky one this, because really I think the handicap, and it was mentioned earlier on in the chat, is the handicap is how Newcastle approach this. Really, Newcastle's attitude. Is it a letdown spot? Will they all be pissed up? I can't imagine any of them are sitting around in the same state I am. I can't imagine Joe Linton sitting there trying to scrub the vom off his high vis. But it's the perception of Newcastle's attitude, really. Been quite inconsistent on paper, Newcastle. They lost plenty of comparison games recently at home, Fulham, Brighton, Bournemouth. They did have a cup final on the horizon in those games, so it was a bit of a weird time. There's been loads of goals at St James's Park. Brentford were in decent form. They won at Bournemouth last time. Baz, great pick from you, that was. But their away record against the top teams is really poor. Against 6 of the top 9, they've lost 5 of them. 4 of those have had over 2.5 goals. And they lost 3-1 at St James's Park in the League Cup, a competition Newcastle went on to win, dominating Liverpool in the final at Wembley. To become the country's most decorated team in English football since March 2025, if you remember that. In December, that was. Newcastle beat them 3-1 in the League Cup. So Newcastle to win in over 2.5 goals, Baz, is 21 to 20 plus 105.
Yeah, you've probably made a stronger case for Newcastle than I was able to do so, even though it's where I've eventually landed. It'll be interesting to see how Newcastle react after the cup final. It's been a long old break since that, which might have been a good thing for us in a way, give them a chance to sort of get it all out their system. But still plenty to play for Newcastle, so really do need to hit the ground running again here. We'll see how that cup final success has affected them. What did stand out in the form for Newcastle? No draw in 4 months. Michael Roberts in the chat saying it stinks of a scrappy draw. Newcastle haven't had a draw since November or something like that, I think. Premier League form recently, very hit and miss. 3 wins, 3 losses from the last 6. I mean, the last 2 defeats came away to Man City and away to Liverpool, though. I think taking them to the equation, we have had some other rough ones, Fulham at home being one of them. Last time out, won at home again. Just like, it seems bizarre that Forest at home was our last home game. That feels like it was about 3 months ago as well. Turns out it's about 5 weeks since we last played at home. So Brentford, you've mentioned their away form, and you've looked at it probably a little bit different to me, which is good, because they have won 5 in a row and unbeaten in 6. But you're quite right. It's the caliber of teams they're playing. And this is why at the start of the season, they were winning all of their home games and losing away from home, because they had that sort of top half, bottom half split. And now it's just flipped around. And now they can beat all the shit teams away from home and struggle at home. But I agree. I think Newcastle will win this one, hopefully. They were just a little bit too short to take as a pick. And this is a little bit of a hit and hope, but I'm going to take Newcastle to score in both halves, 6-5 plus money price. Hit last time in that cup game where Newcastle beat Liverpool in the cup final at Wembley. But yeah, probably not my favourite pick on the card. I just really wasn't sure how to approach Newcastle this week. But yeah, the pick is Newcastle to score in both halves at 6-5.
I know it is a bit of a crossroads for Newcastle. We mentioned this before, but I do think they're going to bear down like between now and the end of the season. I think it's a great stepping stone for them. They've got the premium 3 midfielders back. We missed Joe Linton when he wasn't playing. And after that Cup final win. I do think they're going to kick on again between now and the end of the year. 7:45 is Southampton against Crystal Palace. Southampton are 9-2 plus 450. The draw 27-10 plus 270. Palace 4-6 minus 150. Palace will win. Put them in your rackers immediately. 12 defeats in 13 for Southampton. 11 of 12 over 2.5 goals. I can't see why you need to look anywhere else than that. They lose, and there's over 2.5 goals in the game as they do it. Sometimes they score. Tall Paul might get a goal. Did Palace finish 3-0 yesterday? It did, didn't it?
Yeah, 3-0.
Yeah, and Ketia got one later on. We were on that little run of Palace's 2-0 away wins. They then had a 3-0. But 2-0 against any other Premier League team is probably the equivalent of 4-0 against Southampton. So the form line fits. You can add one on. You can add the Southampton tax of another goal conceded. Palace to win and over 2.5 goals is 7-5 plus 140, Barry.
Yeah, I said last week I thought the bookies were being generous with Palace at bigger than 2-1 to beat Fulham, given the form. And again, I think 4-6 looks a big old price for them here. Certainly one to stick in your rackers. Southampton lost 6 in a row, lost 9 of the last 10. And those 9 defeats, 7 of them have conceded 3 goals. And it's not just the Southampton form that you look at here, because Palace form leads you the same direction. Palace themselves won 5 in a row and won 10 of their last 12. 8 of those 10 wins came by a 2 or more margin as well. So they're winning by a couple of goals often enough. 4-6 is a great price for the Hackers, with Palace flying at the moment. But I like them to win by 2 or more here, which will work out for both of us if Palace can get a couple. I like them on the handicap. Palace minus 1.5. It's 7-4.
Okay. Similar price. You got a bigger price, didn't you? I took 7-5. Yeah, I might prefer yours a little bit there, but 8 o'clock on Wednesday night, we have a Merseyside derby. Liverpool taking on Everton. Liverpool are 3-10 minus 333. The draw 21-4 plus 425. Everton 17-2 underdogs plus 850, Barry.
Yeah, I will be in Liverpool once this one is taking place. I'm going to Liverpool tomorrow for 3 nights for work reasons.
I have never been to Liverpool, Baz, in my life. Right. No, I can't understand quite how or why, because it's not like, I wouldn't say I'm a well-travelled person, but I've been about, like, you name places in this country, I've been there and done a stag do or a trip or whatever, football, but I've never been to the city of Liverpool at all.
I've been before, but I'm there for 3 days. I've got a friend who I used to work with who works back up there now, who is a Liverpool fan, so I've agreed to meet up with him on Wednesday night to watch this game in a pub somewhere. I'm not sure how much fun that'll be, being in a pub full of Scousers cheering either Liverpool or Everton. But, you know, we'll get out and have a few beers.
Put your Newcastle top one, Baz.
I haven't got a Newcastle top that fits me. Funnily enough, Malcolm, there's a story that I dug out my 1993 Newcastle shirt the other day.
Fucking hell.
I handed it over to Chloe to wear. She wore it. Classic shirt for yesterday's trophy celebration.
Oh, very good.
I did pull it on over my head and over my shoulders for a laugh and just squeezed into it. It was like it had been sprayed on. But there you go. It's been handed over to the eldest child for now. It fit lovely over her hoodie, so she could keep warm in her hoodie and have my top over the top of it. Anyway, back to the football. Easy to look at the recent weeks for Liverpool and think they've hit a bit of a slide, because after that cup defeat, social media in particular was all doom and gloom for Liverpool. You know, they've got out the Champions League, they lost that cup final, and a little bit of possibly an overreaction, really, because at the end of the day, it was just 2 defeats in 2 big cup games against 2 very, very good sides. The league form is still solid. They've still not lost a game in 6 months in the league. That defeat to Forest is still the only league defeat they've had at Anfield all season. They've won the last 4 in a row. The concern would be the likes of Man United. That's 4 in a row at home. The concern would be Man United and Fulham going there and getting a point, which is a bit of a downer. And also the fact, obviously, Liverpool haven't been blowing teams away, so teams can hang around against Liverpool, which is what Everton did. recently when they got the 2-2 late on at Goodison. I think draws is what Everton are specialising in at the minute. They've got 5 of their last 6 games have gone draws. So although they've stopped losing loads of games on their boys, they've also stopped winning them now. They just draw every week. The clincher for me here, though, is the fact that it's at Anfield. It's a different story when you look at the head-to-head form for these two teams. Everton are always competitive at Goodison Park. But at Anfield, it's finished 2-0 to Liverpool the last 3 times. And as I've said, although Liverpool don't blow teams away, they have got loads of 2-goal margins this season. Just don't expect them to get 3s or 4s. But I think Liverpool will bounce back. I think Liverpool will win here. And I'm going to take them on a handicap, -1.5. It's a little bit of a ropey one because, as I say, they're not going to run up a massive score. But the home form against Everton is good. And there's plenty of form for these 2-0 wins. So, Liverpool -1.5 on the handicap at 21-20.
Okay, well, we've run into an issue here then, Baz.
Right.
And this is a quick repeat of that memorable 2-2 draw at Goodison. Liverpool have won the last 3 Prem games since, covered the handicap in all 3. But they weren't great against Southampton. They have just been dominated by Newcastle in the League Cup final at Wembley, a game which saw Newcastle anointed as English football's most successful and decorated club since March 2025, if you remember that. They really were physically outbattled in that game. And that's what Everton are going to give you. Everton got right into them at Goodison Park, if you remember that. Everton were probably the better team. I know it took a late goal, but Everton were the better team. And Newcastle just quick bullied them last week. Everton will have another go at that. They're safe now, Everton. They're on the same points as Spurs, which is really funny. 9 unbeaten, 5 draws in the last 6, and very, very competitive. So I've taken the exact opposite to you, Baz. Everton +1.5 on the handicap, 3-4, -133. So, no use whatsoever. That. I had a moment of clarity earlier on. Someone in the chat last week mentioned a Kusanov yellow card, didn't they? I don't know who it was. Yeah. But it was a nice price. Again, made a nice little case that he was marking Semenyo. And I saw he got booked today for bringing down Semenyo. So I thought it was worth mentioning, but no one's owning up to making that play. I thought it might have been Michael, but possibly not. Right then. Game number 10, we're nearly there, Baz. I can feel bed. I can crawl into bed in about 12 minutes. 8 o'clock kickoff, 3 p.m. Eastern time on Thursday is Chelsea and Tottenham Hotspur. Chelsea are 3-5, -160. The draw 7-2, +350. Tottenham 7-2, +350. Baz, finish us off with a winner.
This one could be anything as well. Looking purely at the league form, because I'm not interested in the European stuff between these two because of the level of opposition they're playing every time. Chelsea won 2 of the last 5 in the league, but both of them against relegation contenders. I think it was Ipswich and Leicester. Might have been another combination of those two. Spurs have had a little bit of a green patch. 3 straight wins they had to take the pressure off Ange for a while, but now gone back to form of just 1 point from the last 3, and the pressure's right back on him again. Chelsea's home form has been okay, which is probably why they're favourites here, based on the home form alone. No loss in 5 league games at home. And they have won 4 in a row, but that was against 4 of the bottom 5 teams. I think the Leicester, Ipswich, Wolves and West Ham are the last 4 home games that they've won. So hard to have confidence in Chelsea at odds on. Too short a price. The reverse fixture was a bit nuts. 4-3 to Chelsea, that one. And the books certainly like the goals again here. But for me, I just think it's back to one of those where I've got 2 teams who I think, although league position would say otherwise, I just think in current form, they're both much of a muchness. And Spurs are a much bigger price. So we're back to Spurs as an underdog, being possibly the way to go. The game could be anything, I said at the start, so why not side with Spurs at a better price? And you can get the draw on your side as well. You can take Spurs at plus money to win or draw. I like that here. So my pick's going to be Spurs double chance at 13-10.
Yeah, straight away it fit the system. the problem I had with it, I've got a really overwhelming stat against it. So is that, like, if you gave me a fiver, gun to my head, I would put it on Spurs over Chelsea. Chelsea are hanging on to fourth a little bit. In Main, due to 6 points against Southampton and Leicester, which, if you remember, don't count. But they get beat every time they play somebody half decent. The question is, are Tottenham half decent? So even with the unofficial system, against top 8 teams, Tottenham have won 1, drawn 1, and lost 12. It's an absolute madness. So you just can't. I couldn't get there, but I looked at that stat and I couldn't pick them at 7-2 or the double chance like you did. I had to go into the shots market because you've said the bookies want goals. It just looks like a ridiculous. What was the score? 4-3, 4-4.
4-3 last time to Chelsea, wasn't it?
4-3. I mean, looks like that. That's 7 goals, that alone. Shots on target, which is where I'm going to go. Over 11.5 shots on target. This could be another madness. A fun pick I just looked at the top of the page here, actually, was teams to win from behind. Chelsea are 5-1. Tottenham are 11-1 to win from behind. Because it could easily be a roller coaster. But I'm going to stick with the shots on target. Over 11.5 is even money. Callum's pointing out Chelsea did lose to their own under-21 team. I think they got beat 3-0 as well. They didn't just get touched off. They got smashed by their own under-21 team. Maresca, there's something going on there. I don't know what it is, but there's some kind of silliness. We did it, Baz, miraculously. 10 games in the pouch. Exotic stuff I will lead off with. My lock is going to be Nottingham Forest at 6-5. 5-4, sorry, in fact. We'll take the little drift. Plus 125 Forest. Ridiculous price. 3rd v 13th at home in the Premier League. Underdog, I will take that draw. The Wolves against West Ham United. I've got 2 little lackers here. The first one's unofficial. The 3 relegated teams to get beat, which means the players Crystal Palace, Bournemouth, and Manchester City pays 7-4 plus 175. But I'm taking out Man City and putting Newcastle in. Crystal Palace, Newcastle, and Bournemouth is 11-4 plus 275. Stake in Stilton is a belter. It's 71-1 for Fulham to win at Arsenal and Everton to win at Liverpool. Underdog double there. And anytime goal scorer with Anthony Gordon still suspenderized. Harvey Barnes played well the last couple of games. He gets in good positions, and he's got a good goal scoring record, sort of good ratio. 7-1, first and last. 11-5 plus 220. Harvey Barnes for Newcastle, Bash.
I thought about Harvey Barnes actually, but I didn't end up going there. My lock, I found it quite hard to land on a lock, as I say. 10 picks, none of them that really, really floated me boat massively. But I've gone for Palace minus 1.5. It's 7-4, quite a tasty price for a lock. But we'll take Palace on the handicap. My underdog.
I absolutely love that, Baz. That's the best. That's an arse sniffer. It's been a while since you had an arse sniffer of the week. That is an unbelievable bet. I adore that bet. If I might sod all the other players this week, let's just all smash into that responsibly.
7-4.
Brackets responsibly.
My underdog, which you've already put the dampeners on, is Spurs to beat Chelsea at 7-2. Score, I've went for Eze again because I think I like Palace in that game. And Eze is 12-5, anytime scorer, 13-2, first and last. My overs in the Brighton v Villa game, Chelsea v Spurs, and the one that pushes the price up a little bit, Southampton v Palace. 3-1 for over 2.5 goals in those 3 games. Brighton, Villa, Chelsea, Spurs, Southampton, Palace. And my acca's a little scorer acca. I'm going to take Isak for Newcastle, Eze for Palace, and Evan Nielsen for Bournemouth. 14-1, anytime scorer. Those 3: Isak, Eze, Evan Nielsen, all to score anytime. 14-1. And finishing off with Baz's ladders. It's been a while. I've gone to the Arsenal Fulham game for corners. 2 teams that individually are quite good at corners. So I'm going to go to match corners in this case. Because it starts at quite a reasonable line. Over 9.5 is 4-5. Arsenal are capable of hitting 9.5s on their own from time to time. So over 9.5 corners, 4-5. We'll jump up in increments of 2. So over 11.5 is 2-1. Over 13.5 is 5-1. And then we'll just go up one at a time. Over 14.5 corners, 8-1. And we'll finish off at over 15.5 corners at 12-1. So Arsenal v Fulham, match corners, over 9.5, all the way up to over 15.5 at 12-1.
Excellent, Barry. I like that a lot as well. I feel like you were in good form tonight, Baz. Massive redhead or no massive redhead. I think you've got a few winners. Smashing. Is there anything else you would like to tell the people before we let them go?
No, I feel like my head's going to absolutely explode anytime now.
No vegetables, no sourdough. Is the sourdough still going?
Somebody asked early on about vegetables, didn't they? Who's always asking about the vegetables? Can't even remember who it was now.
It was.
But anyway, there was a vegetable question.
It was Ian, I think.
Austin, isn't it? The answer. He was asking what vegetables I was having for my dinner tonight. Well, it's a bit late for dinner now. It's 11 o'clock. But I did have, Malcolm, 5 vegetables on my dinner. I've done a Sunday roast today, a bit of brisket.
5?
Name the 5 vegetables.
Well, carrots.
Carrots, classic.
Potatoes.
No, I'm not counting the potato. That's just a carb.
You're not counting potatoes. Why are you not counting potatoes? You can't just discount a fucking vegetable. If we're counting vegetables,
there's no
nutritional
value in that, is there?
Counting. Right. Where does the below average cook sit in the chat for 1 hour and 2 minutes? Comment nothing on the football. The minute the vegetable chat comes out, he's straight in. That's outrageous. Onion celery. I'm not having any of that. You might have roasted an onion. Like, did you roast a shallot, maybe?
No, none of that.
Cabbage.
No.
Turnip. Barry, that's all
turnip.
The vegetables. There's none left.
Carrots and turnip is 2.
Peas.
Struggling, aren't you?
It's great content, this.
You've
just slowly watching the live viewing numbers just tick down one by one.
I'll tell you, five vegetables.
Cauliflower. Andy's gone for. Come on, everybody.
Lee's close as well. He's got the carrot, the swede, the broccoli, the cauliflower. The last one was the parsnips, wasn't it?
Okay.
So, yeah. Loads of veg. I'll be fucking farting like a good one tonight. Be absolutely stinking.
Well done, Barry. None of that has helped me get to bed. I haven't enjoyed any of that, chat. Thanks, everyone, for enduring this shambles tonight. We'll be back.
Done, Malcolm. Just well done for getting through it. You've done well.
I appreciate that, Baz. I hope everyone needs to think of me at about 8:20 in the morning when I put the van key in the ignition and a bit of partially digested sausage flies out the thing and hits me in the eye. I'll let you know how that goes tomorrow. But maybe I'll be, I promise I'll be a bright, shining example of health and enthusiasm on Thursday night. Good luck with all your bets. Keep an eye out for all the rest of the content and all of the other show and network stuff. Appreciate it. Loads of fun. Good luck. We'll see you all down the road. Cheers.